Hi there, today I wanted to talk about Batman The Black Mirror from Scott Snyder and art by Jacques. Now, this is a dark collection of the storyline featuring a Dick Grayson Batman. It's set shortly prior to the New 52, and it deals with Commissioner Gordon's son, who is a very, very disturbed individual. It's a great read. I've got it in trade format as a collection because it's not in an omnibus, and I'm trying to cut down on having deluxe editions or anything like that. But it's a great story if you like psychological stories. Let's have a quick look at the book and some of the artwork, and I'll try not to spoil too much in it, and then we'll have a look at some pricing at the end. Alright then, so we've got Black Mirror, the trade paperback edition from DC, with story by Scott Snyder, art by Jacques. This is a story that came out just before the New 52 era, so you still got a Dick Grayson Batman, and it's a great sort of, not horror, but let's say dark thriller type story. Okay, so you get a little prelude just to put you in the scene as to how Dick Grayson is Batman, which I think is really useful, and just sets it all up. And you get into the story. You see that Bruce Wayne has donated a massive high-tech crime lab to the GCPD, but they don't want to use it, so it's just left sort of empty until Gordon turns up asking for Dick to run some tests for him. This leads Batman to investigate a auction that goes on where people are buying sort of supervillain weapons and memorabilia and things like that. So he infiltrates the auction, thinks that he's done a good job, but then it turns out that they already knew he was there, and you've got this sort of old grotesque person in a gas mask leading the auction. You'll find out why they're all in gas masks, because he gets exposed to a toxin, a variant of Scarecrow's fear toxin, that causes him to start hallucinating. And so here we are, Dick dressed up in makeup and prosthetics, trying to make his way out of it. And he starts having these nightmares that he wakes up without any legs, people trying to kill him, oracles there looking after him, and eventually tracks him down. This guy takes a sort of variation of a venom mixed with Man-Bat formula that turns him into this monster, but Dick's Batman, he manages to save the day. That's all really a prelude to the main story, which sees Jim Gordon's son, James Gordon, coming back. James Gordon is a psychopath. Barbara does not think much of him at all. Jim Gordon knows that he's a psychopath and knows that his son is somewhat beyond help, but he's still his son, so he tries to have a meeting with him. There is a great sequence in this in this coffee shop where he meets James, where he makes a joke at the start saying, "Oh, I've stuffed the waitress's head in the toilet or in the sink," and you don't know whether he's just making a joke. He goes, "No, I'm only joking." But then in the background, he looks over there to see if there's something going on in the toilet. But in the background, you can see that there's water coming from that room. So did he really do it? I'm going to skip over the page so you don't see if he did or didn't. But the outcome, it made me chuckle when you see what the outcome is. And you've got them wondering whether or not James has changed, and whether or not he is a psychopath. And you get little flashbacks to James's past, and whether or not that will cause you to consider that he's done something to one of Barbara's friends, and whether that would mean that you're looking for him to be the villain or not, because he says he's undergone a trial of a specialist drug that's supposed to shrink the part of his brain or turn off the part of his brain that causes him to be a psychopath by letting him feel emotions or empathy for people. There is a twist in the tale, however, and now this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to listen to this, skip forward to the wrap-up. You find out that he took the trial, re-engineered the drug, and actually made it so it makes him even more of a psychopath. And you see there he's got someone that was referred to earlier in the book, tied up, cutting off their limbs bit by bit. And he's got a plan to give this drug to loads of children in the maternity ward, so that they will grow up and all become psychopaths in the future. You're left with it sort of open-ended as to whether or not that was a success. And it's just a real creepy story. It's really enjoyable. It's a great read. There is no sort of down patch in it. And if you're not necessarily into Batman, but you want a story that is a dark, sort of creepy thriller, this is totally worth getting. Just the art style really suits it. The character of James Gordon is great because you really get the feeling that he is just this cold psychopath. And you just don't see that kind of character so much anymore in Batman stories. There's always got to be some big over-the-top villain. If they're doing these new movies where Batman's darker and a bit more intense, you do wonder if they're going to take something from this, where he's actually up against just a deluded person rather than a sort of set of crazed over-the-top villains. I mean, you get your standard sort of cover work in the back as an extra, some script pages, but not much more than that. Okay, so that was a book. So great read, really enjoyed it. Nice art style, fits with the themes in the book, let's say, and there's some lovely moments in it that are like nice and surprising and have you guessing right up to the end. As I said before, in particular the scene in the diner cafe where you're not sure if Gordon's son has actually done something or not. I would recommend this to any Batman fan. I like Dick Grayson as a Batman, and it's just a good story. It's a shame really that the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo run went the way it did, but hey, you know, I suppose he's just doing what he wants to do. Now, the price for this, I'm showing on screen. You can get this in trade, or you can get this print I should say, or you can get this in Comixology digital format. You'll have to decide and be a bit shrewd as to whether or not you find a good price for either. I would say wait for the sales on Comixology. They're always on sale, and with the new Batman film coming out not so long away, you may find that there's a lot more Batman sales on there that will be influencing the price of this. Look, if you've got anything from this video, please feel free to give us a thumbs up. It'd be much appreciated. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and please feel free to subscribe if you want to see more.